The final nations to welcome in the new year will be the uninhabited islands of Baker and Holland. According to the latest Ipsos polls, 7 in 10 Britons say that 2024 was a bad year for Britain. Now, however, 6 in 10 Britons are optimistic that 2025 will be better than 2024 for them personally. For News Central, Afua Hagan asked people in London if they were optimistic for 2025 after a rocky 2024 for Britain.
2024 has been quite a year here in the United Kingdom. The general election means we have a new Labour government, but they are still struggling to make their mark. So we took to the streets of London to find out people's hopes, dreams and aspirations as we cross over into 2025.
You know, the living crisis of the people, the tax cut from the pensioners, that's a bit worrying. You know, safe place to stay for the people, and I'm hoping next year we can see a better light into, you know, giving back, I would say, what belongs to the older people. You know, it's a bit worrying.
I'm from Tanzania original. I work with the farmer in Tanzania, and it was nice here to learn more and more customer learning about my food, because I'm growing natural seed and no chemical, organic, and I'm going back to Tanzania by myself. I'm going to leave my son here. So I hope I'll do much better to help Tanzania people and the British people to eat better food.
More self-peace, a lot of self-peace, and self-peace for myself and my daughter.
Beyond individual goals, violence in the capital and global turmoil remain significant concerns as citizens contemplate what lies ahead in 2025.
I'd like to see, political change. There's just been so many almost hands kind of crossed over, and such movement in the world, wars happening, and also threats of wars. I think I'd like to see an end to that, peace, some sort of stability.
All we have to do now in this coming 2025 is to look after the children properly, to enable them know the consequences of the crime, as they are growing up now, because we as parents, we've done what it takes to get to this level and to this category, So we just have to look after them, to let them know, to separate them from the gangs that rampant here in London, as London is one of the most difficult and dangerous cities. It's nice anyway, based on how you look after your children.
From the cost of living crisis to wars across the world to crime in London, people have a lot on their minds as we come to the end of 2024, and they're definitely hoping that 2025 will be a better year. For News Central, I'm Afua Hagan in London.
Let's now cross over to our international correspondent, Afua Hagan in London, for more updates around the world on New Year's Eve. Afua, tell us, what has been some, big news stories in Australia this year?
Yes, well, Australia is one of those countries that has just crossed over into 2025. Like we said about New Zealand, they are living in the future. Now, a lot of people may think Australia didn't really have any significant headlines, but actually they really have this year. The WikiLeaks founder, Julian Assange, won a 14-year legal battle that meant he could be returned back to Australia. He is freed and now is living back in Australia under those conditions. Also, you had the stabbing that took place at the Wakeley Church earlier on in the year. This was on the 15th of April. Now, this was a stabbing of Bishop Mary Emmanuel, and it happened during a live-streamed sermon. Now, that led to a dispute between the Australian government and the platform of X, owned by Elon Musk, because the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, said that content should be taken down, that it was offensive content. Elon Musk raised concerns about free speech and implied that it should be there. And now Australia now have new legislation which was introduced by the federal government, which means that it wants under 16s to be banned from social media. This happened in late November, and it's the world's first social media ban for children under the age of 16. And I'm sure what happened with that church live stream had something to do with that. You also had King Charles III's visit to Australia on his first overseas royal tour. And you also had Lydia Thorpe, that was the independent senator, who had that confrontation with King Charles during his visit to Canberra, where she declared that he wasn't her king, and also accused him of being involved in a genocide that had been committed against her people, which are the First Peoples of Australia. So some quite big news stories actually coming out of Australia in 2024.
All right, what about the UK? What is happening with the New Year preparations there?
Yes, well, the UK's New Year's preparations are not going as planned, to be very honest. We have what's been called some sort of superstorm, which is moving towards the United Kingdom and actually has started towards the north of the United Kingdom. And that means that the huge Hogmanay party, as it's called in Edinburgh in Scotland, has been cancelled. It's one of the biggest fireworks displays in the country, probably as big as the London one. And that has been cancelled. It was cancelled yesterday because of concerns around safety for people. Now, the storm is bringing rain, high winds and snow, and it's moving south through the country. So the north of the country at the moment, you have lots of rain, you have high winds, about 16 miles per hour, and they're moving south. So that other fireworks displays in Blackpool and Newcastle have been cancelled as well. Here in London, the New Year's Day parade, we've been told, is going ahead, and the fireworks are going ahead. However, councils are looking to see if those things will be cancelled as the hours go ahead. The wind is picking up, the rain is starting to fall as well, and New Year's Day has been forecast to be a washout. We have yellow weather warnings in place up and down the country, and those warnings tell us that there will be probably disruption to travel, so trains cancelled and damage to property, and potentially could be dangerous for people travelling as well. So the New Year plan's not going as planned here in the United Kingdom. You know, usually those fireworks displays up and down the country, lots of them cancelled and lots of them under threat at the moment.
Well, can you go ahead and tell us, who is next to celebrate the New Year's? We've seen, some Pacific Island countries celebrating the New Year already, North Korea and Australia.
Yes, well, it's 2 o'clock, just after 2 o'clock here in the United Kingdom. So I'm using UK time. I think you guys just after 3 o'clock. So in the next hour, we do have Japan and then China in the next couple of hours celebrating New Year. Then Indonesia, Bangladesh around 6 p.m. UK time, and then Pakistan around 7 p.m. UK time. Azerbaijan around 8 p.m. Then Greece and Israel 10 p.m. as well. Germany, France and Spain, Switzerland and Italy around 11 p.m. UK time. And then, of course, it is midnight. So the further west we go, then you'll have parts of Canada, Venezuela and Puerto Rico. That will be around 4 p.m. UK time. Then Mexico at 6 a.m. Then the west coast of the United States, so California and all those states around 8 a.m. UK time. Honolulu around 10 a.m. and then finishing off with Baker Island and Howland Island. They are the last places to celebrate New Year, a whole 12 hours after me here in the United Kingdom.
All right. Thank you so much, Afua, for that update.
Thank you.